Welcome back on Untitled. Today I want to propose you a video about
the unboxing review about the issue White Dwarf 429 that it's about the December 2020, even if I'm releasing this the 1st January 2021 because I received it a bit late, so to make it I was able only to release in the 1st January 2021. Anyway, it's also a way to make you my wishes of the best new year, so Happy New 2021. So at least I can do in such a way. Anyway, I want to use also this option to thank the ones that make the channel increase in the 2020, and I hope that you'll be okay even if 2020 has not been so great for a lot of known that we know about. And I want also to thank the Dominion that has been the shop that I can say helped me buying a lot of things that are related about Games Workshop and so on, and I brought on the channel, so I want to thank them. And here now we have this White Dwarf to see about. Anyway, Happy New Year, and we can begin. And the first thing that you can notice is the cover, that it's about the goblin on spiders. These are models that I really like, even if I don't collect the army itself. And I want to remember you, I released something related about, because I have released this one as video, so 2 videos about how to modify and create such spider zombies, and also how to paint them. So if you want, in the description you can find both the link for these videos if you're interested about. I really like these ones, and I think that I'll do also other things in the future related about such ones, because I have a lot of fun realizing them. And so now we can start to see the contents inside. Here we can find the alternative cover, but we'll see better later, and I can yet anticipate you that I prefer the cover that is of the White Dwarf, in this case the normal one. Here the theme of the White Dwarf. Here a sort of I can say best wishes about New Year from the team of the White Dwarf. Here the content of the White Dwarf itself. Here we can find the mini list of the readers to the White Dwarf, and here we can find a lot of ideas on scheme of colors, modifying and so on, that can be useful. For example, this scheme of color can be interesting and so on. You can see something and you can take I can say some idea about. You can find, for example, this scheme of color that can be interesting. For example, this base can be quite awesome, because this typhus, it's quite amazing as model. I really love it. Also this model is not bad that is modified. And so we can find a lot of different options. For example, think about this diorama, it's quite amazing. So it's something that you can really take note about and have inspiration about them. And then we can move on and find this, that it's about the history of the background of Age of Sigmar, so how it developed, and it continues what we've seen in the previous number, and now it continues giving a lot of interesting points about how it has been developed. And we are now to the discovery of the Idonef. So in the future there will be other options about this background evolving, so it's a way to have a sort of pinpoints about checkpoints, also about how has been developed the background of Age of Sigmar. And I think that it can be quite interesting. Moreover, if you are new about this, I want to understand how it has been developed, if it's so rich, and instead of being I can say not so interested about, it can be a way to know better about the background of Age of Sigmar itself. And here we can find the parts about Age of Sigmar relating about the goblin on the spiders. In fact, we have this Tom Celestial that it's about the Grim Scuttle tribes, that brings the background, a lot of background. So if you are interested about, you can really know better about this. There are images that I really love, because they are really amazing one. This is the image that we have seen here. So we can see this image in here is the complete one, so quite wonderful. Here we have other background and so on. So there are a lot of things. This is also a part of the image of the alternative cover, so you can see also a bit better this one. And then we had the rules about. So here are something that are really quite interesting, because there is the updating of the Blue Moon launch, and also the battalions about the schools and so on, so it's quite interesting. And here the points about new unit, so the points about this school battalion. So this is, remember, official, and there is the fact about Age of Sigmar that brings this official, so not worry about, you can play them, and you can try them. I think that it's quite interesting to have this one. As usually, I think that it's okay that there are these on the White Dwarf, so that you can develop them, and now there are not any more problem to find them, because there is the digital version anyway, finding them quite easily about the White Dwarf, so it's not anymore a problem if the White Dwarf it's not anymore printed or so on. There is eventually the digital version available if you're interested about. And then the part about painting, and here we can find a lot of interesting way to paint a lot of different colors. For example, this type of red and I can say yellow, these greens that are quite good, so we can find a lot of suggestions that we can use about. And then we have a showcase about the army of Lucanot, so that we can find how it developed its army about these spiders, and it's quite amazing, really. And then we have this, that it's an article about the facts and how they treat the facts and so on, and I have to say I'm interested about, but this part that it's related about the Shining Future, like the Nexus and like this Ziggurat, I really hated, because it's a way to say that they completely ignore how it works creating a game. Because if you have to understand that they are related also about the tournament, these Shining features that has to go put on the battlefield before that the game starts, so when you create the table, it's silly, because almost never you are able to find this, or anyway the tournament has to find a way to put this on the battlefield. So this I don't like, as I don't like that there are armies that I really love, for example the Fish Eater Kurz, that are able to have their Shining feature that you can put on the battlefield without any problems, and others like the Seraphon that even not get any bonus and so on from this Ziggurat, because it's almost a way to have counter the Seraphon itself. It's free, okay, but if you are going to think that you have to play this army, I want to have that I can even choose. Now I almost obligate not to choose this one eventually in some option, because I can bring it out and then not be able to play it because there is not space on the battlefield and so on, or anyway have anyway each time ask to the tournament and so on. I can play it, cannot how it treated. I don't like such way to do the Shining elements, really. If you want to do this Shining feature and so on as normal ones, okay. If you want to do something that is useful for your army, create something that it's more able to be put and so on without any problems, with different rules as others that we have seen. So in this way I don't like such way. Otherwise they have to release a way that the tournaments have a plan about to treat these Shining features. Anyway, the rest of the article can be quite interesting, even if you have something that you have to pay attention when you read it, because you have to understand what is the meaning of such ones. Anyway, I suggest you to read. I didn't like that one because I think that it's a way to say, we did this because we think that it's the best, but if you think about it, it's not the best at all. So only about this. Anyway, how they treat the facts, I think that it's good that it's done in such a way, because it's a way to make sure that you are able to, I can say, use the facts in the way that you are sure when they are released and so on, so it's not bad at all. And then we had this, that it's about a showcase army about this author, that it's Stu Wired, and it's about its army of Cinch, so the different colors and so on. It's quite amazing as army, and you can find that it's really quite full of magic, and it's the theme about such army. So I think that in such a way it's really quite interesting. You can use this as a way to create your army of scenes or other ones, because you can have some suggestions on, you can understand how to combine different styles, different colors in an army, so it can be quite interesting. And then we move to Warhammer 40k with this, that it's an amazing image about the Death Guard, really awesome. And here about the flashpoint, so the Argovon system. And here we have a lot of background that I remember you there is also in the previous numbers about the White Dwarfs, and I think that if you're interested about to know about this, it's a really nice way, because it's a campaign that has been developed with a lot, and there are a lot of information. Here there is, for example, this, that it's a nice background, a nice, I can say, little novel, little story about that. It's really good to understand better how the icons and so on they think and so on. Here other, I can say, information about, because it's not literal background, but it's complete information. So it's really quite awesome, because there is a lot of way to understand how it has been done with the campaign about the Argovon system, and it's really quite awesome in such a way. Here again another little story about, in this case about the Space Marine against the Cult of Generaptor. So you can find a lot of different options and so on, that it can be quite useful and quite awesome to read. And then the rules about, because they are really quite interesting if you want to play. Here you can really personalize a lot with these rules, your campaign and so on. Okay, now it's not completely the real right moment to play with such campaigns, but in a way I want to remember you can also use this in the future, so they are still valid. It can be quite interesting, because there are a lot of ways to play, and anyway if you are able you can play on distance and so on, so really nice. And here a crusade challenge about painting and so on, some army related about a particular scheme or a particular theme, so it can be quite interesting in such a way. So I think that it can be interesting, moreover because they give you the scheme of colors that I used, so if you're interested about, you have them about, so they can be quite interesting. For example, this one, it's not bad at all as a scheme of color, for example. It's up to you to decide if it's worth or not for you. You have to decide. Anyway, I think that it's really quite nice. And then we move to this, that it's an article about the rules, how it changed from the 8th to the 9th edition, and how they decide to change them. I think that to see this can be quite interesting for the ones that understand the rules, because it can be quite interesting to understand what are the reasons about certain changes of the rules and so on, so not bad at all. And then we had this, that it's about the Golden Demon, with some of the Golden Demon models on different ways that we have seen during the years. For example, this is for the Slayer World of 2014, so it's really quite nice to have inspiration about. Remember, you don't have to think that they are quite amazing and you will never be able to reach such, I can say, events. You can reach, and anyway, even if you don't reach, you can have an inspiration about, for example, some type of terrain, some type of modifying, some type of scheme, some type of effects. Use them as you like. For example, I love this one. I will never able to reach such detail, but you can think about improving and so on, or make it try, for example, to reach some type of this effect of dirty and so on, such type of modification for the base. So there are a lot of options that you can gain from this. Here, for example, there is this, that it's about the Mortalion, that it's the last of the large model gold of 2019, and you can see how big it's the modifier. Even only the base, if you are able to reach a similar way, I think that it's worth. But here we can find also how it painted. So it explains you how it painted to reach such one, and you can move this to other option eventually. So it's really quite interesting to understand how it proceeded to move till this final step. So quite nice. And then we have these that are the glory points that are related about the Dark Chasm, that it's the new version about the underworld. And here we can find a bit of background, so a way to characterize the different characters of the cards and so on that you're going to play. So I think that it can be interesting to understand how to thematize your decks. And here I play about the new version of Blood Bowl. Sincerely, if you're interested about Blood Bowl and you're interested about the new edition about Blood Bowl, I suggest you to read this, because here there is also a battle report, so you can understand how it has been played. So it's a way to understand if you're interested about or so on. So it's quite nice. Sincerely, I prefer them even if I collect teams of the Blood Bowl, because in the description you can find my playlist about my team of Blood Bowl. But anyway, here you can find something, and I think that it can be quite interesting. I prefer the digital version, sincerely, because I prefer to apply the rules and so on, but having these ones as mods and so on, they are really quite amazing to play with, so quite good. In the future I bring also some modifying and so on about models of Blood Bowl and others. Here about the Aeronautica Imperialis, with a bit of background about, and new rules about the Aeronautica Imperialis. So it's really quite rich about this, and you can find a lot of information related about. Here about Necromunda, with new rules about this again. So you can find a lot of options that can be quite interesting. So if you are going to play Necromunda, this it's really quite adding, because there are a lot of new rules that you can apply, so not bad at all. And here about Middle-earth, with the relation about this, that it's an amazing mod. I love the Baroque. I think that it's one of the best mod about the Middle-earth. It's one of the ones that, or maybe one of the few ones of the Middle-earth that I really like to buy and modify and so on, because I think that it's awesome. It's something that I really like to see and so on. Really amazing. And finally, the final one of the different parts of Faith and Fire, that it's a book of the Black Rabbit that has been released in the last 9 months. So this is the last, and so with this it ends also the year of 2020. So this is a way, if you're interested about the Black Rabbit and so on, to understand if you can be interested on the authors of the Black Rabbit. Okay, this is only an example and so on, because you can find the authors that you prefer and so on. Okay, but in a way you can understand how they develop the background with the Black Rabbit. So it's a way to have an example at least. So quite nice. And then we have this that it's about the outside the studio, so what we see in the future. I want to remind you that, for example, these models, I'll bring you a special, or better, more special videos about this one, because I'm progressing in creating them, and in the 2020 I released them step by step, so really quite amazing. So there are quite a lot of options about. This is a way simply to understand that it's a way to make you have the desire to complete a sort of way to paint and so on, build the models that you have and so on. It doesn't bring anything, but it's simply a way that you can really understand. Then we have this, that it's the alternative that I said about the White Dwarf. Not bad, but I prefer quite better this one. I think that it's more amazing. And this one, it's announced that it's related about this, because in January 2020, the half of the January, it will be released the Sons of Behemoth. So the new army about Age of Sigmar, that it's related about the giant and the over giant, I can say, because there are giants that are bigger than giants, the behemoths, and it's something that if you're interested about, I really suggest to bring, because there will be a lot of background, a lot of options. I can yet say you that I'm not interested about them, because it's a faction that I don't want to collect, but the models are quite awesome. So, what to say about this White Dwarf? I think that it's really quite amazing, really quite awesome, and it's worth, because there are a lot of background, really a lot of painting guide that can be interesting, a lot of options and rules that are related to Necromunda, about the Aeronautica Imperialis and so on. So there are a lot of things that can be interesting. I think that it's quite an inspirational one, this one. So a good way. I prefer the November one, but it's really quite awesome as a book released for December. So really quite good. Anyway, I want to remember you that I wish you the Happy New Year, and so from Dino Mode it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again. To the next time.